Welcome to the Finance Wisdom Summaries. The Millionaire Next Door. Introduction. The Millionaire Next Door challenges conventional notions of wealth, revealing that most millionaires in America are not lavish spenders living in opulent homes, but rather diligent, frugal individuals who have accumulated their wealth over time through hard work, perseverance, planning, and self-discipline. The authors, Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko, spent over 2 decades researching the affluent, conducting interviews with more than 500 millionaires and surveying over 11,000 high-net-worth individuals. Their core discovery is that wealth is about accumulation, not consumption. Key takeaways for daily life. Rethink wealthy. Don't equate high income or expensive possessions with true wealth. Focus on net worth, assets minus liabilities, as the real measure of financial success. Prioritize accumulation over spending. Understand that spending all your income, regardless of how high it is, prevents wealth building. Embrace self-discipline. Recognize that consistent self-discipline, hard work, and planning are far more effective paths to wealth than luck or inheritance.
Chapter 1. Meet the Millionaire Next Door. This chapter debunks the myth of the high-spending millionaire. Most American millionaires are first-generation wealthy, meaning they accumulated their fortunes themselves, often in dull, normal businesses. They are typically middle-aged males, married once, living in modest homes for extended periods, and are compulsive savers and investors. A significant portion, 2/3, are self-employed entrepreneurs, a group that makes up less than 20% of the overall American workforce. They live well below their means, drive American-made cars, and their wives often manage the household budget meticulously. The book introduces the concept of prodigious accumulators of wealth versus under-accumulators of wealth. PAWs are individuals whose net worth is significantly higher than their expected net worth, calculated by multiplying age by annual pre-tax household income and dividing by 10, while UAWs have a net worth significantly lower than expected. The chapter highlights that looking affluent often means being a UAW, while true millionaires often appear ordinary. For example, the typical American millionaire has never spent more than $399 on a suit. Ancestry groups also play a role, with Russian, Scottish, and Hungarian ancestry groups showing significantly higher concentrations of millionaires compared to their proportion in the overall U.S. population. This is often linked to entrepreneurial spirit and frugal habits passed down through generations. Key takeaways for daily life are: calculate your expected net worth. Use the formula age times annual pre-tax household income divided by 10 to determine if you are a PAW, UAW, or average accumulator. This provides a realistic benchmark. Avoid hyperconsumption. Understand that outward displays of wealth are often not indicative of actual wealth. Resist the urge to look rich if your goal is to be rich. Embrace frugality. Adopt a lifestyle of living below your means, as this is a cornerstone of wealth building. This might mean buying quality items on sale instead of at full price. Consider entrepreneurship. Recognize that self-employment is a common path to wealth accumulation for millionaires. Long-term homeownership. Staying in the same home for a long period can contribute to wealth as property values appreciate. Chapter 2. Frugal, frugal, frugal. Frugality is presented as the cornerstone of wealth building. The chapter contrasts the lifestyles of typical millionaires, PAWs, with those who earn high incomes but accumulate little wealth, UAWs. Millionaires are disciplined in their spending, often paying significantly less for items like suits, $399 or less, and watches, $235 or less, than commonly perceived. This contrasts sharply with high-income non-millionaires who spend lavishly to display social status. The authors emphasize that wealth is rarely gained through windfalls like lotteries or sports contracts. It's a result of hard work and thrift. They introduce the concept of playing great defense in financial terms, meaning being frugal with spending and anchoring financial habits with budgeting and planning. Most millionaire households operate on an annual budget, and many invest first, spending only the balance of their income, the pay-yourself-first strategy. Millionaires also minimize their realized, taxable income and maximize their unrealized income, wealth or capital appreciation without cash flow. They understand that income tax is often the largest annual expenditure and seek to minimize it by holding investments that appreciate without generating immediate taxable income rather than maximizing high consumption lifestyles that require high realized income and thus high taxes. Key takeaways for daily life. Budgeting is essential. Implement an annual budget to track and control your spending on food, clothing, and shelter. Pay yourself first. Prioritize investing a minimum of 15% of your annual realized income before allocating funds for consumption. Be mindful of small expenses. Understand that small, recurring expenses, like daily cigarette purchases in the example, can accumulate into significant amounts of money that could otherwise be invested. Minimize taxable income legally. Focus on investments that appreciate in value without generating immediate taxable income rather than maximizing high consumption lifestyles that require high realized income and thus high taxes. Choose a frugal spouse. The financial habits of your spouse significantly impact your ability to build wealth. A frugal partner is a major asset. Live in a modest neighborhood. It is easier to accumulate wealth if you don't live in a high-status neighborhood, as it reduces pressure for conspicuous consumption and associated costs like higher property taxes. Home purchase rule. When purchasing a home, ensure the mortgage is no more than twice your household total annual realized income.
Chapter 3. Time, Energy, and Money. This chapter delves into how millionaires, PAWs, efficiently allocate their time, energy, and money towards wealth-building activities, contrasting them with under-accumulators of wealth, UAWs. PAWs spend significantly more hours per month planning their financial investments and managing current investments than UAWs. UAWs, on the other hand, spend more time worrying about financial insecurity and demonstrating a high standard of living. The authors highlight that prolonged education can delay wealth accumulation, as income generation and investing are postponed. While doctors and other highly educated professionals earn high incomes, they often start later and are more susceptible to high domestic overhead due to societal expectations of their status. Millionaires are disciplined and have clear financial goals, often planning and budgeting meticulously. They also tend to be long-term investors, with a significant portion holding stocks for more than 6 years and many making no trades in a given year. This contrasts with active traders, who are often non-millionaires and incur high transaction fees. Key takeaways for daily life. Prioritize investment planning. Dedicate time each month to studying and planning your investments. Even a few hours can make a significant difference over time. Be your own financial advisor, or choose wisely. Many millionaires make their own investment decisions after thorough research, or they choose advisors carefully based on proven track records rather than cold calls. Avoid excessive trading. Frequent buying and selling of securities can be costly due to transaction fees and taxes, hindering wealth accumulation. Self-employment advantage. Self-employed individuals often have more control over their economic future and tend to be more disciplined in financial planning, as they are responsible for their own pension plan. Invest in appreciating assets. Focus on investments that tend to appreciate in value without generating realized income, such as privately held businesses or commercial real estate. Chapter 4. You aren't what you drive. This chapter reinforces the idea that true wealth isn't displayed through expensive consumer goods, particularly automobiles.
Most millionaires do not drive current model luxury foreign cars. Instead, a significant portion purchase used vehicles or American-made cars. The typical millionaire spent $24,800 or less on their most recent vehicle, and half have never spent more than $29,000 in their entire lives on a car. This is notably less than what the average American buyer of a new vehicle pays. The chapter categorizes millionaire car buyers into 4 types, emphasizing that used vehicle-prone shoppers are the most frugal and have the highest net worth to income ratio. These individuals are aggressive bargain hunters for all consumer products and are meticulous budgeters. They prioritize financial independence over displaying high social status. Key takeaways for daily life. Buy used, not new cars. Recognize that buying used vehicles saves money due to depreciation, which can then be invested. Prioritize value over status. Choose vehicles based on objective measures of value and practicality rather than social status. Bargain aggressively. Regardless of what you're buying, take the time to research and negotiate for the best deal. Align spending with financial goals. Evaluate every expenditure in terms of its impact on your wealth-building goals. Avoid purchases that are primarily for showing off. Chapter 5. Economic Outpatient Care. This chapter introduces the concept of economic outpatient care, or EOC, referring to substantial economic gifts and acts of kindness that some affluent parents give to their adult children and grandchildren. While seemingly benevolent, EOC often has a negative impact on the recipient's ability to accumulate wealth. Parents who provide EOC tend to have less wealth themselves, and their adult children who receive more EOC accumulate less wealth than those who receive fewer gifts. EOC can create a facade of an upper-middle-class lifestyle for recipients who, in reality, cannot afford it on their own. These gifts often lead to increased consumption rather than saving and investing, fostering economic dependency and dampening initiative and productivity. Gift receivers are also significantly more prone to credit card debt and invest less than non-receivers of gifts. The chapter emphasizes that while parents often provide EOC out of love and a desire to help, it can inadvertently weaken their children's financial independence and decision-making skills. The most beneficial form of intergenerational transfer is education and support for starting a business, rather than cash for consumption. Key takeaways for daily life. Avoid excessive financial gifting to adult children. While well-intentioned, providing substantial economic outpatient care can hinder your adult children's financial independence and encourage a high consumption lifestyle they cannot sustain. Prioritize education and business startup support. If you choose to provide financial assistance, focus on gifts that foster productivity, such as funding education or helping to start a business, rather than covering consumption expenses. Teach financial discipline by example. Your lifestyle choices and financial habits will have a significant impact on your children. Live frugally and demonstrate financial discipline. Foster independence. Encourage your children to be self-sufficient and responsible for their own economic well-being. Avoid creating a safety net that removes all risk and incentive to achieve. Communicate realistic expectations. Be transparent about your wealth or lack thereof to avoid creating unrealistic expectations in your children. Chapter 6. Affirmative Action Family Style. This chapter explores how affluent parents often apply affirmative action family style by disproportionately giving financial assistance and inheritances to their less economically productive adult children, particularly non-working daughters, type B housewives, and unemployed sons. This is often driven by a belief that women need money of their own and a concern for their less fortunate children. However, this practice can perpetuate economic dependency and hinder the development of self-sufficiency in the recipients. More economically successful offspring often receive less EOC and inheritance, and many highly productive individuals receive no wealth transfers at all, which the authors argue is a reason for their wealth. The chapter provides guidelines for affluent parents on how to raise economically self-sufficient children, emphasizing teaching discipline, frugality, and the value of achievement rather than consumption. It also stresses the importance of minimizing discussions about inheritance and allowing children to face and overcome adversity. Key takeaways for daily life. Reward achievement, not dependency. Focus your support on behaviors that promote self-sufficiency and hard work rather than subsidizing a lifestyle that cannot be self-sustained. Avoid weakening the weak. Resist the urge to overprotect or overprovide for less capable children, as this can stunt their development of resilience and initiative. Teach by example. Be a role model of discipline and frugality yourself. Children are perceptive and will follow actions more than just words. Delay inheritance or structure it wisely. Consider structuring trusts or inheritances so that money is not distributed until children are mature and established in their own lives, minimizing its impact on their early financial habits. Emphasize values beyond money. Instill values such as good health, happiness, self-reliance, integrity, and a history of achievements, as these are more valuable than material possessions. Chapter 7. Find your niche. This chapter discusses the significant market opportunities that exist for businesses and professionals who cater to the affluent. While millionaires are often frugal with everyday consumption, they are willing to spend on services that help them grow or preserve their wealth, such as investment advice, accounting, tax advice, legal services, and specialized medical dental care. They also spend generously on their children's and grandchildren's education and well-being. The chapter highlights the projected growth of the millionaire population and the substantial intergenerational transfer of wealth expected in the coming decade, creating significant demand for specialized services. Specific opportunities are identified in estate law, tax law, immigration law, medical, dental specialties, especially cosmetic and elective procedures, and various asset liquidation and appraisal services. Additionally, industries supporting private education and residential housing are expected to benefit from affluent spending. Key takeaways for daily life are: identify market opportunities serving the affluent. Whether you are in business or considering a profession, look for niches that address the unique needs of wealthy individuals, especially in wealth management, legal services, estate, tax, immigration, specialized healthcare, and education. Focus on value-added services. Understand that affluent clients prioritize high-quality advice and services that help them maintain or grow their wealth, even if it means paying higher fees. Network and build referrals. Professional relationships and referrals are crucial for attracting affluent clients. Providing excellent service can lead to a strong referral network. Chapter 8. Jobs, Millionaires versus Heirs. This chapter focuses on the occupations of millionaires and the factors that contribute to their wealth. The vast majority of millionaires, over 2/3, are self-employed business owners, a group far more likely to become millionaires than those who work for others. Crucially, the authors emphasize that the character of the business owner, frugality, discipline, hard work, is more important than the specific industry. Many millionaires operate dull, normal businesses that don't attract significant competition but provide consistent profits. While self-employment carries financial risk, successful entrepreneurs view it as offering greater control over their destiny and multiple income streams compared to the single source of income for employees. They often enjoy their work and take pride in going it alone. Affluent parents often encourage their children to become self-employed professionals, physicians, attorneys, accountants, etc., rather than taking over their businesses. Recognizing the portability of intellectual capital and the lower risk associated with professional services compared to traditional businesses. Key takeaways for daily life. Consider self-employment. Explore entrepreneurial ventures if you possess the necessary discipline, tenacity, and a desire for control over your economic future. Character trumps industry.
Recognize that your personal qualities, frugality, hard work, discipline, are more important for wealth accumulation than the glamour or perceived profitability of a specific business or occupation. Dull, normal businesses can be profitable. Don't overlook industries that may seem unexciting. They can often provide stable income and wealth-building opportunities due to less competition. Intellectual capital is valuable. If direct entrepreneurship isn't for you, consider professions that leverage intellectual capital, as these offer portability and generally high profitability rates. Embrace risk as an opportunity to grow. Successful individuals often face and overcome fears and risks, which strengthens their ability to achieve.
Main idea of the book. The Millionaire Next Door reveals that the vast majority of America's affluent are not flashy, high-spending individuals, but rather self-made, frugal entrepreneurs and professionals who live well below their means. They meticulously budget, save, and invest consistently over long periods, prioritizing financial independence over status. This counterintuitive reality emphasizes that wealth is accumulated through discipline, hard work, and smart financial habits, not through high incomes alone or inherited fortunes. The book debunks common myths, demonstrating that anyone, regardless of background, can achieve millionaire status by adopting a lifestyle of diligent saving, wise investing, and avoiding hyper-consumption. If you enjoyed the content, please consider supporting the author.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, subscribe. Now, let's go to the next video.